Sometimes the lottery will not pay you even if you win fair and square. It's true, there are some unlucky winners who followed every single rule, didn't cheat, and still got nothing. If you don't believe it, let us show you exactly how that happened. Number 9. Mathematical error. Just a few days ago, thousands of people in Norway received a notification that they had won a Euro jackpot draw. Some of them thought they were getting millions. Others were told by their phones that they had won hundreds of thousands. And the best part is they didn't cheat. They didn't do anything weird. They just picked their numbers and waited like everyone else. But there was a catch. There was no jackpot because the lottery company, Norsk Tipping, messed up a line of code. The prize numbers were supposed to be converted from euros to Norwegian kroner. But instead of dividing by 100, someone multiplied the amounts by 100. That's a pretty big difference. So everyone got these fake, inflated winnings blasted to their screens. Some people were already dreaming about a new apartment. Others started planning home renovations. And then, to their dismay, the lottery officials sent a correction message. Oops, we were just kidding. You are going to get next to nothing. The company blamed a manual coding error, and the CEO actually stepped down over it. Another guy took over and sent out yet another apology, saying they were working hard to make sure it didn't happen again. That's nice and all, but try telling that to someone who thought they were finally debt-free, unlike the poor winners here who could not do anything after that correction message. The next winner went straight to court. Number 8. The unlucky winner. Back in early 2023, in Washington, D.C., a man named John Cheeks bought a Powerball ticket. He picked his usual numbers, including birthdays, meaningful dates, that sort of thing. A couple of days later, he checked the D.C. Lottery website, and to his surprise, his numbers were listed as the winners, and the prize was $340 million. Now, John didn't go screaming through the neighborhood. He stayed calm and called up a friend. His friend gave the smartest advice ever. He told him to take a photo of the winning numbers, and John did just that. The next morning, he walked into the lottery office ready to claim his money. But they told him those were not the actual winning numbers. He was stunned. He pulled out the photo he took. They still refused to pay him. In fact, someone in the office told him to throw the ticket away. John didn't do that. He held on to it and got himself a lawyer. That's when the lottery admitted something shady. They had posted test numbers on their site by mistake before the real draw even happened. The numbers just happened to match John's. But because they weren't official, they refused to pay him. Meanwhile, in Iowa, a similar screw-up happened. But instead of ducking responsibility, the Iowa lottery let the players keep their small prizes, even though the numbers were posted in error, because it was the right thing to do. So why couldn't Powerball do the same for John? They can afford it. They just don't want to. That's the difference. Unlike John, who stood his ground and fought back in court, this next woman didn't even get a chance to fight. She was just handed a dinner. Number 7. $1 Million Dinner. Back in 2016, Katrina Bookman walked into Resorts World Casino in New York hoping for a little luck. She played a slot machine like everyone else, and then the screen lit up. It said she had won $43 million. She couldn't believe it. She smiled, she cried, and she took a selfie with the screen. And why not? That number would have made her the biggest slot machine winner in American history. She was raising 4 kids and had been through a lot in life. For once, it looked like things were finally going to change. But the next day, the casino told her something that sounded like a bad joke. They told her she didn't actually win. They claimed the machine had glitched. According to the State Gaming Commission, the rules say any malfunction voids the win. So, how did they try to make it up to her? They offered her a steak dinner. Not even a gift card or a trip, just dinner for a jackpot that would have changed her life. Katrina's real win was apparently just $2.25. That's what the machine said her actual payout was supposed to be. And as for the machine itself, they wheeled it out, fixed it, and threw it back on the floor like nothing ever happened. Let's be honest here. When someone sees that kind of number flash on a screen, they start making real plans. Katrina thought about buying a house, taking care of her family, maybe finally breathing easy. But the casino just shut it all down. Now, if Katrina got a steak dinner, this next woman got something even worse. A measly $80. Number 6. Faulty machine. Veronica Castillo had a regular day planned. She was out with her mom at the Lucky Eagle Casino in Washington. She put $100 into a slot machine, and suddenly, it happened. The screen said $8 million. For a few minutes, she was frozen. With that kind of money, she could have gotten a full life reset. But then the casino staff came over and told her it was all a mistake. The machine, once again, had glitched. And just like that, her life-changing moment was gone. They shut off the machine, wheeled it away, and handed her exactly $80. Apparently, there was a tiny sticker on the machine that said, "Malfunction voids all pays." Veronica was furious, and rightfully so. She knew she could not be the only one this had happened to, so she hired a lawyer. She wanted accountability, not just for her money, but for the principal. Meanwhile, the casino's CEO came out acting like it was the first time he had ever heard of this. He said the jackpot was not even possible on that machine, called it a display issue, and said it would be looked into. But in the end, she got no money. And if that wasn't bad enough, now imagine all of this happening to thousands of people at once on Christmas Day. Number 5. Unlucky holiday. It was December 25th, 2017. In South Carolina, something unexpected happened. The holiday cash add-a-play game had a glitch, and for 2 full hours, every ticket printed was a winner. In total, over 42,000 tickets were sold, and they added up to more than $1.7 million in supposed winnings. People were celebrating, laughing, and taking pictures. It was like a Christmas miracle. But then, the system flagged it, and the game was shut down. The lottery officials called it a programming error and said that no one was getting paid. Refunds were issued, but the actual prizes were gone. Now that was a Christmas no one in South Carolina will forget, but at least it ended quickly. This next story dragged on for months, and by the end of it, everything fell apart. Number 4. Lost the evidence. Martin and Kay had been playing the same lottery numbers every week like clockwork, until one day, those exact numbers came up, and they won £3 million, which is around $4 million US. But the crazy part is, they didn't even know it. For 6 months, their jackpot sat there unclaimed. The lottery tried everything, TV announcements, public campaigns to find the winner. And finally, 6 months later, Martin saw the numbers on screen and remembered those were the numbers they always played. That's when they panicked. They searched every drawer, every coat pocket, every trash bin. But they couldn't find the ticket. Kay remembered where she bought it, and they still had the receipt, so they went to the lottery office to claim the prize based on that. But the lottery officials said they were too late. Apparently, you only have 30 days to report a lost ticket. They were 5 months too late. Even with the receipt, even with proof of purchase, the rules didn't bend. And the worst part is that the stress of all this wrecked their relationship. The fighting, the letdown, and the pressure pulled them apart. What should have been a life-changing win turned into a breakup, all over a missing ticket. At least Martin and Kay were honest. The next two went the wrong way to win the lottery, but made a dumb mistake. Number 3. One dumb mistake. Mark Goodrum had just gotten out of jail when he met up with his friend John Ross Watson. They had no money, but apparently they had a plan. They decided to steal a debit card and purchase a scratch-off ticket. Somehow, the ticket they bought with that stolen card turned out to be worth more than $5 million. For a moment, they were rich, but only for a moment. The lottery office contacted them and asked for their bank details to transfer the money. That's when Mark messed up. He said he didn't even have a bank account. How did he use a debit card then? That's when officials started asking questions. Instead of laying low, the two started celebrating like they had already been paid. They talked to the press and even went shopping. Meanwhile, investigators found out the truth. The card belonged to a man named Joshua Adaman, who had no clue he was funding someone else's jackpot. The officers arrested them both immediately, and the two dumb BFFs didn't get a single penny. Now, some people lose their winnings because they broke the law. But what if you lost yours because the state said you owe them? Number 2. A technical error. That's what happened to Kathleen Lambert and her husband. They scratched off a ticket in Florida and won $1,000. It wasn't a huge win, but definitely worth the 90-minute drive they took to the lottery office. When they got there, though, they were told their winnings were being withheld, not because of fraud or any glitch, but because of a so-called debt tied to her husband's unemployment benefits from the pandemic. Turns out, thousands of other Florida winners were hearing the same thing. The state flagged their winnings and said they could not get paid until they they settled the money they supposedly owed, money they were not even aware of. The system was a mess. They did not give anyone a fair warning. They just blocked their payments. Thankfully, the local news stepped in. ABC's I-Team started investigating and put pressure on the state. Bit by bit, things changed. Kathleen eventually got her money. So did others, but only after fighting for it. The state tried to hide behind technical errors, but the truth was, the whole system was broken, and real people were paying the price for it. Next, we have a similar story, but this took place in Illinois, not Florida. Number 1. The state in debt. Back in 2015, Illinois was flat broke. The state was in debt by billions of dollars. And when that happens, even the lottery takes a hit. People were winning prizes and being handed promissory notes instead of money. They received literal printed promises from the state saying, "We will pay you later." It was not just a few people. There were dozens, then hundreds, but the state had no functioning budget and no one in charge seemed able to fix it. At some point, they even had to stop selling tickets for Powerball and Mega Millions because they couldn't afford to pay out new winners. Eventually, frustrated winners sued the state, and only after that did the state slowly begin catching up. By 2017, payments finally started going out, but people had waited years for money that was rightfully theirs. Illinois didn't say glitch or make a mistake, they were just broke. And the lottery became a casualty of broken finances. Most of these people played fair and still didn't get paid, except in Illinois. But some winners cheated the system on purpose and actually got caught. Watch our next video to see how they did it and how it all went wrong.